Greetings, everyone. Tim Anderson here, aka Renfell, and welcome to the latest episode in the Project Dramond series. Today, we're going to be talking about Brownies and Dwarfs, which are a couple of races from the world that we're creating right now. If this is your first time tuning in and you're not sure what we're talking about or what's going on with this particular video, there's a couple of things you need to do first and foremost. First, check out the playlist here, which there's a Project Dramond playlist which has all the information about what this project is and what's going on with it. In short, it is a tabletop game, it is a brand new series of novels, it is a single player adventure game being worked on by myself, my wife, and my brother. Again, all the information can be found in the Project Dramond playlist, which is here on YouTube. Once you've done that, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so that you get updates when all of the future videos go live. And the second thing you need to do is you need to head on over to Patreon, which is below. All the links are in the description text below because every single thing about this project is taking place over on Patreon. So all of the blog posts, all of the super nitty-gritty details, concept art previews, videos, sneak peeks, all the stuff that's being worked on a daily basis by us is posted on a nearly daily basis over on Patreon. So make sure to check out the links below. And I guess there's one more thing. If you want daily updates, daily snippets, we also do a lot of stuff on TikTok, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, showcasing what we're working on, whether it's Chris working on a piece of concept art or it's me working on something from the rule books or the novel, or my brother working on something from the adventure game. So check all that stuff below. Now, today's post in particular, which we're referencing in this video, is about the Brownies and Dwarves. The full details for that post are linked directly below. It's the first link you're going to find when you go down here. I want to talk a little bit about the brownies and elves, or brownies and dwarves, I should say, in our game, because we're doing things a little bit differently than a lot of other fantasy games have done in the past. So obviously, every time you start a new project, you want to have something that's unique to your world, unique to your creation, which makes it different from what other people are playing or what other people are used to playing. So for us, the first place we started with was the brownies. Now, brownies aren't traditionally a player race in a lot of tabletop games. You're traditionally going to see halflings as a playable race. And we do have halflings in our game, and there's going to be a future video about the halflings. But the important thing to know about the brownies is that we wanted to have the kind of, when we were looking at the book in particular, we wanted to have the comic relief character. And we didn't want to have it be a halfling because that would be a little too much like the Dragonlance books with the Kinder, with Tasselhoff. But we still wanted to have some sort of a fun, quirky little character for the main party to have in their group who's constantly getting into trouble or causing problems and therefore causing either comic relief or causing issues for the party, which gives them a continual state of crises, if you will, above and beyond what's going on with the main storyline. So we started brainstorming what did we want that to be, and we eventually settled on fairies or brownies, and then eventually narrowed it down to brownies, especially after watching the movie Willow just before we started publicly talking about this project. Um, my wife had only ever seen the movie one time, and it was years ago, so we came back and watched it again, and it was then that I kind of settled on the idea that that's what I want. I want that. I want that type of brownie is the basis for what we're creating here in Project Dramond, and these are a playable race, and they are, like I said, inspired by that movie, but we're doing a lot of creative stuff along the way to make them unique to our world. But if you think about what was the core, what were the core aspects of the brownies from that film and from that book series? If you've never read the book series, you should as well. Um, they're short little creatures. They've got magical abilities. They are hunters. They might not be able to go out and hunt deer and elk and so on and so forth, but they are good hunters in and of their own rights, and can take down prey that is of appropriate size. But in our world, they are very strong in magic, and there's a little bit more going on there. But again, you got to read the post to find out all the juicy details about that. Now, as far as dwarves go, we're kind of going with your standard series of Mountain Dwarves versus Hill Dwarves. The Hill Dwarves are the ones that most people are familiar with and are topside, and then the Mountain Dwarves who only live under the mountain. And then there's also Primal Dwarves, which we'll be giving a different name to. We'll be giving names to all of these races later on, official names. We won't just be calling them Mountain Dwarves, Hill Dwarves, High Elves, Wood Elves. They will get official names later on, but for right now, we're just using placeholder names. So the dwarves, we're kind of it's one of those things where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And dwarves kind of work already in the way they've been written. But primal dwarves are where you're going to see some of my previous work come into play here. Because if you remember for those of you who know me from the Saga of Leucemia, I created the race of beings known as the Dwerhe, who are basically kind of like rock elementals, earth elementals, rock golem kind of creatures. And we're kind of using the same sort of basis for that with the primal dwarfs, but primal dwarves are not going to be a playable character, at least not in the base game. They might be unlocked later on in one of the second editions or third editions, but for the base game, no. Anyway, all of the full descriptions of the brownies and dwarves and everything else are below in the post over at Patreon. Hopefully, you'll go over there and check that out. Pick up a subscription. It's a great way to support what we're doing and get involved in the posts that are going up on Patreon several times a week. You can provide feedback, commentary, and help us craft this thing into a really cool project. So hopefully, we see you over there. And don't forget, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon so that you get updates when all of the next videos in the Project Dramond series are available. And we will see you in the next episode.